Hello, so in this short video we're going to look at some different types of words that are really important to know for our grammar and literacy and will really help you in everything that you do. So the first one I thought we'd look at is a noun. So you might already know that a noun is a naming word, and often people say that they are people, places or things. Okay, so if you look around you, I'm sure you can see lots of things that we can say are nouns. So for example, an apple, a book, a bottle, they would all be nouns because they are things. And we can also have people and places, which are often, they're called proper nouns as they have a capital letter. So one way to identify a noun, to find a noun, is to look for a determiner. Now that sounds a bit tricky, but a determiner is simply a word that introduces a noun, so comes before it, such as the bottle or a book. So those the and a that come before the nouns, they're called a determiner. So let's have a look at the example here. The man went to a shop. So can we identify any nouns in this sentence? So we might want to look for a determiner, so words like the or a that might come before it. So let's have a little look together. I'm just going to give you a few seconds to see if you can identify the nouns. Okay, so hopefully you've had a little chance to look now and you can see that actually the is a determiner and we've got man as a noun. Remember we said people, places or things, and man is a person. So we've got the man. Okay, let's keep looking because sometimes there are more than one noun. The man went to a shop. I've spotted another determiner, a, and shop. We know that that is a thing. So in this sentence we've got the man went to a shop. We've got man and shop are our nouns. Okay, lovely. So that's nouns done. Fantastic. Okay, so next I thought we'd have a look at a verb. So a verb is often called a doing word, but sometimes it can be a little bit more than that. It can be an action or a state of being, so how we are. And they often have tense with them, and that gives us a clue that it's a verb, so often the present or the past tense. So let's have a look at the example. She walked home. Okay, so in that sentence, what is the action? What is the verb? Can you find it for me? She walked home. Okay, so I think, hopefully you think this too, that walked is an example of an action. Well done. And we can see that the ed in that word represents that it's in the past tense, and that tells us that it's actually an action and a verb because it's got tense with it too. Okay, let's have a look at this example as well. The walk took a long time. Now can we find any verbs in that sentence? Now I have put this one on there to show you as a bit of an example of how we might get confused with this, because a moment ago walked was a verb, but if we look at this one, the walk took a long time, well, we can notice that walk has got a determiner in front of it, which actually means that the walk is a thing. So that actually isn't a verb like we might think. So I'm just going to put a little cross under that. That's actually a noun and a determiner. So don't let those type of ones let you get confused. Okay, so now we're going to look at adjective, which is often called a describing word, and it modifies or changes a noun. So remember, a noun is a person, a place or a thing. So we can often see an adjective before a noun to describe it and add more detail. So let's have a look at this example. So she did some good work. Okay, so can we find the noun in that sentence? What's the thing in that sentence? So have a quick look and see if you can find it. Okay, so the noun in that sentence, hopefully you found it, is work. Okay, so can we now find the word, the adjective, that changes the work? What word could make a difference to the word work? Okay, well it's actually good. So that in this sentence is our adjective. Now we could change this adjective and it could become she did some terrible work. Okay, so that word there impacts on our noun. So this is the adjective. Also, so this is where the adjective comes before the noun, but it can also come after the verb be. Okay, so let's have a look at this example. Her work was good. So we've got the same noun and adjective, but they're in a different order. So good doesn't come here, We don't say her good work was, that wouldn't make any sense. Her work was good. So good is still the adjective that is describing the noun, which is her work. Okay, so it's just a different way round, and this was is the past tense of the verb be. Okay, so that's two different ways. We can have some more simple examples. So you might say the shiny spoon. Okay, so shiny would be an adjective in front of the word spoon, which is a noun. Okay, hopefully that helps for adjectives. And now we're going to move on to adverbs, okay? And the way I like to remember the word adverb is it adds to a verb. So let's just recap what verb was again. So verbs are sometimes what we call doing words, actions or states of being. So let's have a look at this example. Which word adds to the verb? So sometimes it's good to identify the verbs first. So Billy soon started snoring loudly. Okay, so what are our verbs? What are our actions in this sentence? Let's have a little look together and see if we can work it out. I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can come up with some. I'll give you a clue, there's more than one. Okay, so hopefully you found them. So the most obvious one I would say is snoring, to snore. That's a verb. We can often identify verbs because if we can put to snore, we can put to in front of it, then it's a verb. And the other one you might not have found was started. Okay, to start. Started. So here are our two verbs, started, snoring. Okay, so which words now do we think are the adverbs? Which add to the verb or change the verb? So we've got soon, that tells us when it was started, so that's an adverb. And also we've got loudly, that's also the adverb. Let's just put a little A under there to remind us. Now, lots of adverbs do end in ly, so for example, slowly, quickly, loudly, but not always, so don't be fooled. So sometimes you might have, so for example, a word like fast, or we have soon. They're also adverbs, but they don't end in ly. Okay, hopefully that's helped.